Latest.
Yeah, here's a look at your travel times. It is 38 minutes inbound on the Kennedy from O'Hare. Eisenhower is at 37 minutes right now between Route 390 and downtown. Same drive time, 37 on the Stevenson between I-355 and DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Stacking up a little bit on the Dan Ryan. It is slick out there, so be careful. It's a 31-minute ride inbound from 95th to downtown on the Dan Ryan. Also on the Metra, there's some signal problems on the Milwaukee District West line. Right now it's affecting outbound trains, but you might just want to check that app, check the Ventra app to make sure that your train is on time. We will check in with that. I do want to point out that I saw a solo wreck happen on the inbound express lanes at about 7 o'clock, so it is, or about 5 o'clock, I should say. And so take it easy out there. Roadways are slick, even if the snow does let up. All right, breaking news. An Amber Alert has been issued for a little boy missing from North Judson, Indiana. Judson is about 120 miles northwest of Indianapolis. His name is Jackson Clemens. He's 2 years old, and he was last seen yesterday afternoon. He is believed to be in extreme danger this morning as police search for 44-year-old suspect Dwayne Clemens. He is seen right there. Clemens apparently is driving a silver 2017 Chevy Trailblazer with Indiana plates. The plates are CRS 242. CRS 242.
We could learn more today about the release of evidence in an ICE agent shooting involving a Chicago woman.
Say Kwan is live at the Dirksen Federal Courthouse where there is some key court hearings happening today. Say?
Hey, good morning to you guys. Well, federal prosecutors initially struck down a request to release that body cam video, but recently they actually said they would release it as long as agents' faces are blurred. Now, even if that body cam video is made public, guys, that is just one part of the evidence, and getting the rest of that evidence released could be quite a battle. Miramar Martinez was shot 5 times by federal agents last October after getting into a collision with Border Patrol during Operation Midway Blitz. Now, even though all criminal charges against Martinez have been dropped, her attorney says DHS continues to call her a domestic terrorist. Now, because of that, her attorney filed a new motion just last month to lift the protective order, which is basically what's keeping Martinez from publicly sharing any evidence right now. Her team argues that she has the right to use that evidence to protect her reputation. Today's hearing also comes after Martinez testified on Capitol Hill, sharing her story, which gained national attention.
I knew I had to get to safety before I was dragged from my car and likely beaten or killed. I drove forward and went around the Border Patrol agents who jumped out of his car and pointed his gun at me. I moved to the far left lane, striking the curb on the far left side of Kedzie. The next thing I knew, I felt a burning sensation in my arms, legs, and that I had been shot by pepper balls.
Well, prosecutors once again are saying that they're open to releasing that video again as long as those faces are blurred, but they have publicly said they are against releasing any of the private text messages from that agent's phone. A federal judge is set to rule on that today to decide whether all of that evidence, including the text messages, the photos, and the body cam video, will be released. That hearing is set for 9:30 this morning. Guys, back to you.
Say, thank you for breaking that down for us. We know you'll be watching that. It's 7:03 now. We've got some breaking news from overnight. 2 Chicago police officers recovering this morning after a crash.
Gabriela Primus has that and other top stories we're following. Gabby?
Yeah, Natalie, Anthony, the crash happened just before midnight as officers were responding to a call over in Jefferson Park. So they turned onto Central Avenue from Goodman Street when they lost control. The car struck a guardrail and light pole. They were hospitalized in good and fair condition. A 17-year-old is facing charges in the mass shooting after Chicago's tree lighting ceremony back in November. It happened outside the Chicago Theater on North State Street. 7 teenagers were hurt that night. Police say the suspect is also facing charges for an armed robbery of a 38-year-old man. The suspect's name hasn't been released because he's a minor. Iran and the United States kicked off a new round of high-stakes talks today in Oman. The negotiations are supposed to focus on Iran's nuclear program, which was hit during U.S. military strikes last year. But U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff is pressing to go after Iran's missile program and its extensive support of proxy groups in the Middle East. It comes as the U.S. military seems poised for a possible attack with the buildup of troops in that region. Anthony.
Okay, thank you very much, Gabriela. COPA is investigating a shooting involving Chicago police. This happened in the 8100 block of South Merrill Avenue yesterday in the South Chicago neighborhood. Police say they were trying to stop a stolen vehicle when the driver hit their squad car. Someone in the vehicle allegedly had a gun and tried running away. That is when police say an officer fired a shot. No one was hit. 2 juveniles and 1 adult were taken into custody.
A Chicago man is facing a murder charge after the death of a popular boat charter captain and grandfather. Last Labor Day weekend, the body of Nabil Abzal was found in Lake Michigan. His drowning was considered suspicious at the time. Police have now charged 34-year-old Alexis Trader. He is accused of hitting Abzal in the 200 block of North Lakefront Trail on one of those docks, knocking him into the water.
A daycare teacher in suburban St. Charles has been charged with attempted bodily harm and endangering children in her care. 23-year-old Yiza Juarez from Sycamore is accused of giving chewable laxatives to 3 children who are ages 2 years old and younger. Juarez did turn herself in and was released from custody. She's awaiting a court date, but St. Charles police are asking anyone with additional information to contact them.
The search for Nancy Guthrie enters day 6, and we're now learning about some ransom note deadlines.
Brian Jackson is here in studio with the very latest for us. Brian?
Well, the brother of Today anchor Savannah Guthrie is making another desperate plea for the safe return of their mother after the passing of a ransom deadline.
Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
Authorities now confirming that the ransom demanded a transfer of money by 5 p.m. Mountain Time last night. A second deadline for payment is set for this coming Monday. Police have not named any suspects in Nancy's disappearance. The FBI is offering $50,000 for information leading to an arrest.
You still have the time to do the right thing before this becomes a much worse scenario for you. Any action taken on any ransom is ultimately decided by the family.
Meanwhile, police made an arrest in connection to a fake ransom note that demanded money for Nancy's safe return. Anthony?
Okay, thank you, Brian. Despite pushback from many residents, city leaders in Hobart, Indiana are going to be moving forward with building a new Amazon data center. The company told the city of Hobart it will construct multiple buildings. It's an $11 billion facility here. It's also supposed to bring in more than 400 permanent full-time jobs. However, about 100 people, Hobart residents, spoke out against the idea of building this data center, saying that it'll ruin the city.
For the amount of land that you guys are going to be working in and moving is incredibly ridiculous and fast to me as someone who is in the construction industry. This stuff does not happen quickly unless, people are being paid to make sure it happens quickly.
Who do you think can afford this? Because Amazon can afford it, but your citizens can't. I mean, multiple times we've come up here and begged you to protect us.
The City Planning Commission approved a fill permit for the data center. Amazon has not released any renderings yet.
The Catholic Archdiocese of New York about to get a little Chicago twist. They're going to start a new era today. Archbishop designate Ronald Hicks set to be installed today in NYC. He was previously the head of the diocese in Joliet. He grew up in South Holland. He spent 20 years as a missionary in Peru. He was chosen by Pope Leo back in December to replace the retiring Cardinal Timothy Dolan. All right, let's take a live look outside, and we're seeing maybe some frozen spots there on the camera. Could be. Yeah. I know when on my way into work today, I was seeing quite a few flurries, but Mike says that's moving on out of here.
It is moving on out of here. While we might see a couple of flurries or a brief snow shower later today, no accumulations are expected, but there may still be a few slippery spots even as temperatures begin to climb. So let's look at the radar here. And it's kind of hard to see what's going on because there's nothing intense anymore, but I see one little area that I'm going to zoom in on here. It's northwest of the city, northwestern Cook and northern Kane County, maybe near Pittengree Grove, one of my favorite towns. And here's another shower not too far from O'Hare, a little bit north there. This is flurries, pretty much it right now. But there still could be some slippery spots out there. Main story now, in my opinion today, is a thaw for at least a couple of hours. It's 33 in O'Hare. I'm just so excited about that. We've actually risen a degree. 32 at Waukegan. Still a little colder in northwest Indiana. Hang on. You'll get there eventually today. Take a look at today's high temperatures. Mid, maybe a few spots, upper 30s. The best chance of getting upper 30s well southwest of the city into LaSalle, Grundy, maybe Kendall County. I think we'll get to 36 at O'Hare, 35 at Waukegan, 35 at Merrillville. And this is nowhere near the warmest day in the entire forecast period. Now, there could be another brief snow shower this afternoon. Our Weather Authority Futurecast shows a couple little blips of blue there. That is not a big deal. And with temperatures above freezing, it's not going to stick. However, tonight it gets cold again. I'll show you the forecast, which features 4 days of 40 plus in just a couple of minutes. Natalie Anthony.
All right, looking good. Thank you, Mike. High-stakes talks are underway between the U.S. and Iran as tensions there continue. I am talking with North Central College professor William Muck about what could come from these meetings.
Welcome back, 7:13, as we take a live look at the Chicago River. Those icebergs on the river, ice chunks long gone, and hopefully things will continue to melt away as we head into next week. All right, time to check in with Gabriella Primus, who's here in studio with a look at this morning's top stories. Gabby?
And Anthony, we're going to start with some breaking news involving an Amber Alert for a missing Indiana boy. Here he is, 2-year-old Jackson Clemens was last seen yesterday afternoon. He's believed to be in extreme danger. No, police are looking for 44-year-old suspect Dwayne Clemens, seen here. He's driving a silver 2017 Chevy Trailblazer with Indiana license plate CRS 242. The missing boy is from North Judson, Indiana. That's near Indianapolis. Also breaking overnight, 2 Chicago police officers were recovering this morning after a crash in Jefferson Park. They were turning onto Central Avenue from Goodman Street. That's when they lost control. The car struck a guardrail and light pole. They were hospitalized in good and fair condition. A judge could issue a ruling today on releasing evidence in the case of a Chicago woman who was shot by an ICE agent. Marimar Martinez was accused of ramming a Border Patrol agent's car in October. She was shot multiple times. Charges filed against her were later dropped. Martinez's lawyer says releasing body camera footage and other forms of evidence will ensure the debate around her case is based on fact. Natalie.
Thank you, Gabby. Iran and the United States kicked off a new round of high-stakes talks today in Oman. Joining me is North Central College professor William Muck. Thank you so much for weighing in on this here. So what can we expect from these meetings taking place in Turkey today? And why do you think now Iran is deciding, we're willing to negotiate here?
Well, I think tensions have gone up, right? And Iran, I think, is in a much weakened position. The United States has demonstrated its military power multiple times recently, including going after Iran. So I think Iran is in a very precarious position where they're actually open to conversations. Now, whether these are successful or not, I think we should lower the bar a little bit. I think it's good that both sides are talking, but I think the nature of the conversations is going to be exclusively over the nuclear program, and we're not going to be talking much about the attack on the protesters. So I think we should be careful about what we can expect out of this, but I think it's a good sign that there are conversations occurring.
What are some of the stipulations the U.S. is asking Iran of in order for these talks to be successful?
Well, the United States has been pretty clear about this, and the president in particular. He said it's one, the elimination of the nuclear program. Number two, the ballistic missile program. And third, their support of proxies in the region. Now, the first one, in terms of the nuclear program, enrichment, all of that, Iran has said they are open to conversations. The second and third, the missiles, as well as support for proxies in the region, they've said that's a non-starter. So I think that's what we should be watching for in the next couple days when we start to see what's coming out. Is there any movement there, or is the conversation really got to center on the enrichment stuff? So I think that's what we want to be paying attention to, is what are they talking about? What are both sides willing to move on?
I think we also need to reflect on history a bit, because I'm sure there are viewers watching this and they're thinking, well, didn't we have a nuclear treaty? We did with Iran under the Obama administration. President Trump essentially blew that up. And one of the big sticking points was that Iran wasn't going to let people, independent monitors, go and actually double check that they weren't enriching uranium.
Right. So this is a really interesting thing. And I think this may come back. We may see a version of that initial Iran nuclear accord again, because ultimately the most immediate concern for the United States and actually the region as a whole is the nuclear issue, whether Iran would pursue a nuclear weapon. That's number one. The missiles and the proxies are sort of the secondary concerns. The first Iran nuclear deal really focused in on the nuclear weapons. I think the Trump administration is going to find that that's probably where they can have the most success. That's probably where they're likely to get a deal. Iran is going to be much less likely to give up its missiles program or support for proxies in the region. So I think that's what's really fascinating. We may find ourselves moving back to an agreement that we had, although the Trump administration will probably argue it's something different and new, but it might be just recycled to what we had before.
Okay, something to keep an eye on. And then this was something that kind of slipped under the radar for a lot of people. At midnight, a 15-year-old treaty with Russia, it was called the New START. It expired, and essentially what this did was cap the amount of nuclear weapons that each country could have. So the expiration of this treaty, what does that mean?
It's a big deal, and I'm glad you brought it up because there's not a lot of conversation about it. You think about back to the Cold War and
right.
Throughout all of that and the treaties that began to regulate the number of nuclear weapons, the types of nuclear weapons between the United States and the Soviet Union and now Russia. There are no longer any treaties, bilateral treaties between the United States and Russia regulating that, which means what we're likely to see is an escalation of those weapons. The United States is starting to increase. Russia may increase. We see China increasing, a lot of nuclear proliferation. So the world is moving away from those kind of agreements, but the reality is nuclear weapons are still incredibly dangerous, and we would hope that moving forward we'd see Russia, the United States, China come back together and have conversations about regulating and limiting the proliferation of those very, very dangerous weapons.
Do you think this was just like oversight, and maybe that there will be a meeting set up to produce some type of framework for a new treaty?
I hope that's the case, but I think more likely it's that neither side, the United States, Russia, and China, is all that interested anymore. I think the Trump administration isn't really excited about bilateral and multilateral treaties. I think the Trump administration has decided that nuclear weapons are actually a way to sort of enhance power. I think Russia also is in no real mood for any kind of agreement like that. China wants to increase its nuclear weapons base. So the parties themselves, I think, are less interested in that kind of agreement than they would have been. I think the other factor is as a world community, we're less worried about nuclear weapons than we were during the Cold War. Now, they are equally dangerous, but I think our attention has drifted to other things.
Very interesting. All right, Professor William Muck with North Central College, thank you this morning.
Thanks for having me.
And I hate to end it on that note, Mike, because that is terrifying.
It is.
There's no other way around it. 7:19 now. One of the things we don't have to worry about as much this morning is this continued snowfall.
It has ended. I was just thinking, though, watching Professor Muck, he's on with us many, many times. The students there at North Central who are in his class, how lucky they are. He is good. I mean, he's wonderful on TV, but can't you imagine he's just as great in the classroom?
Oh, yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
we really enjoy having him on the show here. Lends a lot. We have snow moving out of the area, as Natalie just mentioned. Maybe there could be a couple of flurries here and there. There may be a brief snow shower this afternoon. I'm just not overly excited about that. What I'm more excited about is the fact we're getting above freezing today, area-wide. 36 for the high. Few spots might get a 37 or 38 southwest of the city. The downside, it's not going to be much of any sunshine, and that wind is going to be picking up, so it's going to kind of eat into how much warmer it feels. Current temperatures, we're already seeing a few spots at or above freezing. 33 at O'Hare, freezing on the nose, Woodstock, Waukegan, DeKalb, LaSalle, Peru with a 34. Still a little colder in Northwest Indiana. You'll get there. Just hang on. Be patient. Snow moving out. Could be a brief snow shower this afternoon. There's that high of 36 degrees. Look at the 7-day forecast. After a cold day tomorrow, high of only 24, we'll hit freezing on Sunday, and then it's into the 40s all of next week. 42 Monday, 48 on Tuesday. I really want to go 50 on Tuesday, but let's play it safe with a 48. Chance for some rain on Wednesday. Might end as a couple of snowflakes that wouldn't accumulate Wednesday night, and then back up to 40 degrees on Thursday. Anthony, luckily we haven't had any, huge problems. Snow out there?
Yes, so far nothing major popping up in terms of accidents. The drive times are stacking up just a little bit here as we approach 7:30. On the Kennedy, it's a 43-minute ride this morning inbound from O'Hare to downtown. On the Eisenhower, you're at 43 minutes between Route 390 and downtown. If you're taking the Stevenson Expressway, 39 minutes is your inbound drive time from I-355 to DeSable Lakeshore Drive. And things stacking up a little more on the inbound Dan Ryan. You're at 38 minutes between 95th and downtown. Natalie?
Anthony, plenty more to come here on Good Day Chicago. We're going to continue the build up to the Super Bowl. And today we're talking about the halftime show. We'll have a live report from Santa Clara. The Bears getting some recognition at the NFL Awards ceremony. We'll talk about that. And the Chicago Auto Show opens this weekend. Jake Hamilton is there. Don't worry, we have an insurance policy in place. He'll be live at McCormick Place with a preview. We'll be right back. The first installment of Cook County property tax bills, and this will shock no one, delayed again.
This all began with a delay in last year's second installment bills. Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas says this one is on County Board President Tony Preckwinkle. Last year, property tax bills got delayed for months due to technical problems. But when we talked to Treasurer Pappas on Chicago Live, she said this didn't have to happen. 10 years ago, the county apparently signed a contract with a tech company that was supposed to modernize the whole system within 3 to 5 years. She says that never happened, and instead of keeping the old system running, Pappas says the board still shut down the old system and tried to use the new one, which she says did not work at all, so the bills couldn't go out. She says people in Cook County are still waiting on $160 million worth of refunds.
We can't write any checks because there's no system to send the checks out. I don't think very highly of this company. I asked the Board of Commissioners and Preckwinkle 7 years ago to cancel this contract. I've written 25 letters on it. And you know what? It's like talking to the wall. It's like looking for toilet paper in the bathroom. Everybody's like sucking their thumb and nobody listens.
The county's chief information officer made the call to not run both systems at once. But Pappas says Preckwinkle hired him, so it's on her. We reached out to Preckwinkle's office for a response there. They say they're looking over the comments and will get back to us.
Super Bowl festivities continue in San Francisco ahead of Sunday's game.
Yes, the Bears got a little recognition at last night's NFL Honors Award ceremony. Among the awards given was the inaugural Protector of the Year award, which went to that man right there. It's given to the league's most outstanding lineman over the course of a single NFL season. Bears left guard Joe Thuney. Yep, congrats to him in his first season with the Bears after being traded with from the Chiefs.
Caleb Williams and DJ Moore took home the Next Gen Stats Moment of the Year award. Another opportunity to watch this fabulous video. They were recognized for this play right here, where Caleb threw a game-winning touchdown pass to DJ Moore in Week 16 against the Packers.
All right, the Chicago Auto Show opens to the public tomorrow at McCormick Place, and this year marks the 118th edition of the Auto Show. It runs through the 16th, and Jake Hamilton will be there live a little bit later this morning with a preview. Mike, hopefully we will get a cool inside look at some of the upcoming makes and models that'll be hitting the car dealerships.
I got confidence. Jake is going to do us well today. We'll see what he has for us. Hopefully your car isn't spinning out on some slick roads as a result of overnight light snow. The snow is moving away, and we're going to see a thaw brief today, more lengthy next week. The full forecast and more. Good day right after this.
We are following breaking news at 7:30 this morning. An Amber Alert has been issued for this little boy missing from North Judson, Indiana. 2-year-old Jackson Clemens, last seen yesterday afternoon, and he is believed to be in extreme danger. Police are looking for 44-year-old suspect Dwayne Clemens, also seen here. He is driving a silver 2017 Chevy Trailblazer with Indiana plate CRS 242. That is right there on your screen. Please call police if you have any information.
Final preparations are underway for Super Bowl 60. We're going to be live in Santa Clara, California with the big acts that are performing.
And we're live at the Chicago Auto Show as it kicks off this weekend at McCormick Place. We're going to be checking in on the excitement all morning long. I love that live look. Look at that, Anthony.
Oh,
you look good in that red car, I
the
think.
fast car. Yeah, nice. Okay, we start with coverage of the woman who was shot 5 times by federal agents in Brighton Park last fall. She's now asking a judge to release more evidence.
That evidence includes body camera video, photos, and additional text messages. Saquon joins us live from the courthouse ahead of a hearing on this today. Say.
Hey, good morning to you guys. Well, federal prosecutors initially struck down the request to release that body camera video, but actually recently we learned that they would be okay releasing that video as long as agents' faces are blurred. Now, even if that body camera video does get made public here, it's only one part of the evidence, and getting the rest of that evidence released could be quite a battle. Miramar Martinez was shot 5 times by federal agents last October after getting into a collision with Border Patrol during Operation Midway Blitz. Even though all criminal charges against Martinez have been dropped now, her attorney says DHS continues to call her a domestic terrorist. Because of that, her attorney filed a new motion just last month to lift the protective order, which is basically what's keeping Martinez from publicly sharing any evidence. Her team argues that she has the right to use that evidence to protect her reputation. Today's hearing also comes after Martinez testified on Capitol Hill, sharing her story, which gained national attention.
As my attorney showed the court the disgusting text messages Exum sent to his fellow Border Patrol buddies, literally bragging about how many times he shot me, I got sick to my stomach seeing how a federal law enforcement officer will talk this way about shooting me.
Well, once again, prosecutors say that they are open to releasing that body cam video, but they are and have publicly said that they would not be okay with releasing the text messages from the agent's phone. A federal judge will rule on that today and decide whether all of that evidence could be released. That hearing is set for 9:30 this morning. Guys, back to you.
Okay, Say, keep us posted on what the judge decides. We appreciate the report. And we are following a crash as well this morning involving police on Chicago's northwest side.
Gabriella Prima says that and some other top stories.
Yeah, the good news here, guys, is that Chicago police say both officers will likely be okay. But the crash happened in Jefferson Park near the intersection of West Goodman Street and North Central Avenue. CPD says the officers were responding to a call when the one officer who was driving lost control. They slammed into a barrier, but it sounds like no other cars were involved and no one else was hurt. A post shared by President Trump is under fire for showing a racist depiction of Barack and Michelle Obama. The post is one of several made last night on his Truth Social account. It starts with a clip of alleged voting machine irregularities. Towards the end, it shows a racist cartoon depicting the Obamas as apes. It's unclear if the president meant to share that part of the video. We'll keep you updated on that story. A 17-year-old is now charged in connection with a mass shooting that happened after Chicago's tree lighting ceremony. The shooting happened November 21st outside the Chicago Theater on North State Street. 7 teens were hurt that night. Damarian Cherry is being charged as an adult in this case. He's facing 7 counts of first-degree attempted murder and some other charges. Cherry is also facing charges in a separate armed robbery. Let's send things over to Mike Kaplan for a check of this forecast. Mike, at least we're not seeing any snowflakes falling anymore, it looks like.
Very few. And if we see a couple this afternoon, it won't be a big deal. And temperatures are going to be and are in some places now above freezing. And the good news here, in addition to it feeling a little bit warmer when you step outside, the salt on the roads are going to be infinitely more effective than it has been in all of that cold weather. Now, we do have a little ice on our lens at Shedd Aquarium. 33 degrees, though, at O'Hare. If you missed it, this is the first time that Chicago officially has been at or above freezing since the 16th of January. 3 weeks. Northwest winds at 9. The wind chill is 25 degrees. Now, I'm going to talk about the wind a little more in a minute, but let's look at the temps. 34 at Rockford, 32 at Waukegan, LaSalle, Peru, 36 already. It's only 26, though, at Merrillville, even a couple of degrees colder at Valparaiso. Hang on, Northwest Indiana, you're going to warm up, too. Now, compared with 7 a.m. yesterday, quite a bit warmer, 12 degrees warmer at Aurora, 15 degrees warmer at Woodstock. Along the lakefront, it is 13 degrees warmer. The winds, they're shifting from southwest to northwest. We are behind a cold front. Despite that, the cold air actually lags a few hours behind the actual frontal passage. But the fact that the winds are picking up, we've got an 18-mile-an-hour wind already at Waukegan, that's going to kind of eat into how much warmer it feels out there. But I think most of us are going to say, yeah, it's not as cold. This is all right. 36 today. Could be a brief afternoon snow shower. No great deal with that. Tonight, it gets cold. 10. A lot of suburbs will be single digits. If you are in mainly LaPorte and Berrien counties, you might have some light lake effect snow. Tomorrow, only 24, but that's the coldest day of the bunch. Freezing on Sunday, 40 plus. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And Tuesday looks like the warmest day of the bunch with a 48. Could be really close to 50 that day. Got a couple of photos that I'd like to share with you, including this beautifully silhouetted tree. Spring on the way. Looks like maybe a squirrel nest up there top center. Ed Broche sending in that shot. Still some snow on the ground there, but a lovely sky. I assume that you took that picture at sunrise yesterday. I'm not 100% sure, Ed, but it's a pretty shot. And how about that one? That is a sunrise picture, and that's why I thought that Ed's picture might have been a sunrise. You guys neighbors? Lisa Provenzano giving us a look at that shot. Gorgeous there. We have no sunshine out there now, but we'll have some this weekend. Cold day tomorrow, a little bit milder on Sunday. All right, here are your travel times. Looks like they're climbing a little bit, but considering it's been snowing, it isn't all that bad. We'll be right back after this.
even though it's a sporting event. Industry experts often call the Super Bowl music's biggest stage as well, with millions tuning into the halftime show.
This year will be another one for the history books, with Bad Bunny set to become the first Latino male artist to headline the mashup. Ashley Dvorkin outside Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California, with the latest on what we can expect. Hey, Ashley.
Good morning, Natalie and Anthony. Yes, back here at Levi's Stadium, and we have both teams, the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks. They're hitting the field for practice before the big day, but they're not the only ones getting ready to give it their all on Super Bowl Sunday. Check it out.
Bad Bunny in the building.
While the Super Bowl is about football, excitement is growing as millions prepare to watch Latin superstar Bad Bunny's halftime show performance. Fresh off music's biggest night after recently making history at this year's Grammys, Bad Bunny says he's grateful to take on music's biggest stage this weekend.
I feel more excited about the people than even me. They happy because this moment, the culture.
No word yet if any guest stars will make an appearance alongside him, but Bad Bunny is promising to bring the party.
I know that the world is going to be happy at this Sunday. They don't even have to learn Spanish. They just, it's better if they learn to dance.
But Bad Bunny won't be the only musical act.
I've been rehearsing this in my head for months, if that makes sense.
Before kickoff, Charlie Puth will sing the national anthem. Coco Jones will perform Lift Every Voice and Sing.
With Lift Every Voice, there's so much hope and tenacity that I relate to.
And Brandy Carlisle will belt out America the Beautiful.
This is a song about a country, a beautiful country that ebbs and flows in terms of hope, and it's a work in progress.
And Green Day, we also have Green Day who are headlining the opening ceremony, and that's just here. There are concerts throughout the Bay Area. We have Post Malone, Sting tonight. There's also Chris Stapleton is in town, Olivia Dean, who just won New Artist of the Year at the Grammys. So there's so much going on, even just leading up to Sunday. Natalie, Anthony?
Oh, exciting stuff. Ashley, thank you so much for the roundup there. Appreciate it. Have fun out there. 7:42 back here in Chicago, but before we move on to the local situation, Bad Bunny's halftime show causing buzz, both good and bad. The performance will evidently entirely be in Spanish, which has inspired fans to quickly sometimes try to learn a little bit of the language. However, some Republicans have noted Bad Bunny's comments on immigration and critiques of the Trump administration as reasons that they will not be tuning in. Daniel Roper is a professor of Latin American literature at the University of Chicago. He talked about it on the Chicago Report.
And so what you have is a colonial subject who has been critical of the role that U.S. has played in limiting Puerto Rican sovereignty. So this is a subject who speaks about the U.S. as an empire, which is something that a lot of, U.S. citizens living in the mainland don't really tend to recognize. And his success pushes against this narrative that you need to assimilate, that you need to speak English to somehow gain the kind of recognition and legitimacy on the global mainstream music stage.
And Bad Bunny was the most streamed artist of 2025. Last Sunday, he became the first person ever to win the Grammy Album of the Year for a Spanish language album.
Here's a look at what's coming up on Good Day Chicago at 8 and 9. Keep it right here.
All right, welcome back. It is 7:46. A little cloudy out there. Doesn't look like it's snowing at the moment. We'll see if that is completely cleared out with Mike Kaplan in just a moment. But first, we want to check in with Gabriella for some of our top stories on a Friday morning. Gabriella?
Yeah, and Anthony, we're following breaking news. We told you about this Amber Alert that's been issued for a little boy missing from North Judson, Indiana. Here he is. 2-year-old Jackson Clemens was last seen yesterday afternoon. He's believed to be in extreme danger. Police are looking for 44-year-old suspect Dwayne Clemens. You'll see him here. He's believed to be driving a silver 2017 Chevy Trailblazer with Indiana license plate CRS242. Call police if you have any information this morning. 2 Chicago police officers are recovering this morning after a crash. The crash happened just before midnight as officers were responding to a call in Jefferson Park. They turned onto Central Avenue from Goodman Street when they lost control. The car struck a guardrail and light pole. They were hospitalized in good and fair condition. A judge could issue a ruling today on releasing evidence in the case of a Chicago woman who was shot by an ICE agent. Marimar Martinez was accused of ramming a Border Patrol agent's car in October. She was shot multiple times. Charges filed against her were later dropped. Martinez's lawyer says releasing body cam footage and other forms of evidence will ensure the debate around her case is based on fact. And despite pushback from many residents, city leaders in Hobart, Indiana are moving forward with building a new Amazon data center. Last night, the City Planning Commission approved a permit for the data center. The company told the city of Hobart it will construct multiple buildings for the $11 billion center. Natalie.
Thank you, Gabriella. Let's give you a live look outside. I'm going to say it again because I thought the depiction was so spot on. This morning, it looked like I was traveling at light speed when I came in and Anthony felt the same way. The snowflakes were just streaming toward our windshield.
Like you had shifted into warp drive.
That's right.
Yes, I got you. Well, the snow's moving out of the area. You were talking about how it looked like there's a little bit less ice on the river. See just a few patches of it here and there. And we're going to go into melt mode for the most part over the next week, but tomorrow's going to be a cold day. Let's look at the radar. The snow has moved out of the area, at least for now. It's moving off to the east, moving into the Ohio Valley. There could be a brief snow shower, a couple flurries this afternoon here, but not a big deal. Do want to show you where there are some winter weather advisories in purple there. This is headed off to the mid-Atlantic. That's where they're going to deal with some cold weather. But for us, no watches, no warnings. This is kind of easy peasy stuff here. Temperature-wise, I'm pleased to announce we're finally above freezing in Chicago. 33. This is the first time since January 16th. Still cold in Northwest Indiana. Hang on, the 30s are going to get there too. 32. Woodstock, Waukegan, DeKalb, it's even 33. Rockford and LaSalle, Peru with 34. I think we'll top out at 36 for the official high today, but a few spots may do a 38 or 39 well west and southwest of the city. The downside, those winds are going to be picking up, so it'll feel a little bit colder out there. Watch for a brief snow shower this afternoon. I'm just not impressed with much of that. What I am impressed with is the milder air coming in here next week. We are not deviating from our expectation that 40s are on the way. Monday, 42, 48 on Tuesday. I've been so close to going for a 50 on Tuesday. If we can get enough sun, it might happen. Some rain on Wednesday. It could end as a little wet snow Wednesday night, but we'll be back up to 40 degrees on Thursday. So one cold day tomorrow, and then it's all about the milder air on the way next week. Anthony, as we approach the 8 o'clock hour, do we have any major problems on the road?
Nothing major that I am seeing, which is a really good thing because it has been very slick out there at times this morning. Here are your drive times. Everything is in the red, though. It's a 49-minute ride inbound on the Kennedy from O'Hare to downtown. On the Eisenhower, you are also at 49 minutes between Route 390 and downtown. It really gets kind of clogged as you pass by Harlem, Austin, Central Avenue, heading into the city. On the Stevenson, it's 43 minutes between I-355 and DuSable Lakeshore Drive. On the Dan Ryan, it is 44 minutes between 95th and downtown. Only problem on the Metro this morning is on the outbound side of the Milwaukee District West Line. A couple of trains have been delayed there, so check the app if you use the MDW line. All right, 10 till 8, and the first installment of Cook County property tax bills, they're being pushed back, the deadline here, after a delay in last year's second installment bills. We did speak with Treasurer Pappas, Maria Pappas, on Chicago Live yesterday. She says this was an avoidable situation. She really criticized the leadership at the county. 10 years ago, the county signed a contract with a tech company to modernize the system, but apparently that didn't happen. Pappas says that the board shut down the old system and started using the new one, even though the new one didn't really work, which means that the bills this year couldn't go out on time.
We can't write any checks because there's no system to send the checks out. I don't think very highly of this company. I asked the Board of Commissioners and Traffic Control 7 years ago to cancel this contract. I've written 25 letters on it. And you know what? It's like talking to the wall. It's like looking for toilet paper in the bathroom. Everybody's like sucking their thumb and nobody listens.
We did reach out to Tony Preckwinkle's office for a comment. They say they're looking in to Pappas's comments and will get back to us. The first installment of bills will be mailed out next month, and they are due on April 1st.
Chicago is home to the nation's largest inland port. Did you know that? And for the past 8 months, workers there have been raising concerns about safety on the job. This week, the American Great Lakes Port Association announced it is looking to expand the cargo movement there between the Great Lakes and the inland waterways system, with port traffic expected to grow. Picketers at Iroquois Landing warn that safety concerns could also increase.
Honestly, I would say anywhere between 70 to 80% of the machines that we have here, tires that were severely worn down, brakes that didn't work at all. We want them to understand that as we arrive with 10 toes, 10 fingers, our lives intact, that's how we want to go to our families at the end of the day.
QSL owns that property. They released a statement saying there's no legal finding of any serious violations at the port.
All right, it is day one of the largest auto show in North America. We're talking about the Chicago Auto Show, which is back at McCormick Center.
Jake is there with a live rundown of all the action in store. Hey, Jake.
That's right, guys. It is one of my favorite times of the year. We are live out here at McCormick Place. It is the Chicago Auto Show. Now, you guys know I have a Bronco, so I immediately made a beeline over to see what they were doing with basically my own truck. And listen, they got a whole trek that we're going to show off in just a second. But the man who knows more about this place than anything, take a look. Here he is. This is the chairman, Jason Roberts. Jason, good to see you, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
Now, obviously, for a lot of people come out here every year. It's a tradition. But for someone who's never been out here, maybe it's been a while, there's a lot to see out here.
Yeah, there's a ton to do this year. You've got indoor test tracks. First time we've had gas-powered vehicles. We're here at the Bronco track, but we also have the Jeep, immersive camp Jeep. So there's all kinds of stuff to do for you and your family.
And you know, that's what I love. You got hundreds of cars out here. You got so many makes and models, but it's not just look at that car sitting there on the carpet. Isn't it pretty? You get to see these babies in action, and that, I feel like, makes this auto show, I mean, look, and I'm biased, but just a little bit better than every other auto show.
Yes, absolutely. And there's stuff to do for the entire family. We've got the family zone, so if you're bringing your kids, you can go over there and play games. You can get on their little remote car test track. We've got new this year, the Chi-Town Alley, which I'm really excited about. You know, that's more of an enthusiast kind of area. So there's from A to Z, come here.
Well, that's what I kind of love about this. It's not just you buy a ticket and you come out here for an hour and then you go home. This is kind of your whole day if you really want it to be, if you want to make the most out of everything you guys are offering.
Yes, absolutely. You know, it's a great time to just come out. Everybody's tired of being cooped up inside. Yes, you know, you get outside, be around a bunch of vehicles, and then there's tons of great food to eat, too.
Yeah, so much good food to eat, but you want to be careful around the cars, obviously. You guys are kicking off tomorrow, runs through Monday the 16th. And you know what? Tickets available online, affordable if you want to bring the family out.
Yes, absolutely. You know, this is great fun for you and the family. Come out here. Jump in a Bronco. My daughter's always loved jumping in a Jeep, so the Broncos, riding around in the track, and then grab a slice of pizza while you're out here.
All right, man. Jason Roberts, we appreciate you, sir. Guys, we are going to be live out here all morning long. Listen, I didn't know they were going to have the Bronco track ready to go. So do you guys think I have time to run home, grab my Bronco, and do you think they'd let me kind of take it on a little bit of a test drive? I don't know. I don't think I've ever done that with my Bronco before in the distance. I'll have to try it out and see if it works. What do you guys think?
I would love to see Jake navigate that track.
I would love to see it, but
Challenge accepted.
I'm just going to keep my comments to myself.
You wouldn't what, Natalie Bomke?
Well, it's the start of the auto show. Maybe at the end might be a better time for this in case something goes wrong. But
you know what? I drive a can-do attitude. That's what matters.
Yes, that's right. You take that can-do attitude to the auto show. Thank you, Jake. Good luck, sir.
We'll be right back. Iran and the United States kicked off a new round of high-stakes talks today in Oman. Negotiations supposed to focus on Iran's nuclear program, which obviously was hit during U.S. military strikes last year. But U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff is pressing to go after Iran's missile program and its extensive support of proxy groups in the Middle East.
The U.S. and Russia have now agreed to reestablish military-to-military dialogue. This comes after a second day of U.S. brokered peace talks between Russia and Ukraine in Abu Dhabi. High-level military communication had been suspended in 2021, just before Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Meantime, the current U.S.-Russia nuclear treaty, it expired yesterday, which